When we talk about solving quadratic equations, we've seen this a handful of times. A quadratic equation is anything in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. When we saw earlier things like x squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0, we saw this back in Unit 2 when we would say, okay, well, I can't square root, I can't subtract and divide, I've got to factor. X and x, that tells me same sign, that tells me both negative. In this case, 2 and 5. Negative 2 times negative 5 is 10. Negative 2 plus negative 5 is negative 7. That equals to 0, remember, and we've seen that a handful of times now, change the signs. X equals 2, x equals 5. And remember, those are the numbers that work. If I take 2 and plug it in, 2 squared is 4. 7 times 2 is 14. 2 minus 14 is negative 10, plus 10 is 0. It works. That's what I'm trying to do. 5 would work also. We did see other methods. If I have a square alone, all I need to do is just take a square root. What do I do to one side? I do to both sides. But this is what we talked about. When I say take the square root of both sides, is when I've got to say plus and minus. Remember, this is because 5 squared gives me 25. Negative 5 squared gives me 25. Negative times a negative is a positive. The even exponent with the negative base is a positive. Remember how I put that in Math Excel is 5 comma negative 5. I've got to have two answers. With most quadratics, I'm going to have those two answers unless it's that double root we addressed before. Well, let's look at some more examples. What if I had 3x squared equals 6? First thing I want to do is get that x squared term alone. Divide by 3 to both sides. If I get x squared equals 6 divided by 3 is 2. Once I have the x squared alone, take the square root of both sides. What I do to one side, got to do to the other. X equals, when I say take the square root of both sides, positive and negative, square root of 2. It's nice when it ends up being a square root, but that's actually even more work. When I say square root of 2, what I'm going to have here is root 2 is an answer and negative root 2. Separate your answers with commas. Even if they don't end up being these nice perfect whole numbers, that's fine too. Be prepared too. We may need to break it down. If that were square root of 20, then I would need to break it up as 4 and 5 and make it a 2 root 5. So just be ready to apply a lot of our properties with radicals that we've been using.